Moving forward to your time here, where, in case anyone's wondering where we're at, in Anfield itself, when one of the lounges, it's called the Anfield Beat. I want to know what you think your legacy is amongst the fans of Liverpool.
Well, I'm here. I was a player here for 6 years. I came here in 2006 and I left in 2012. And ever when I come back to the city or to the club, I feel still so welcome. So I still feel part of this big family. So I think the supporters and my legacy is that people who remember me as a player know that I always gave everything for the shirt. And just because if I did that, I also was sometimes very important in scoring goals. And that's what the Liverpool people are here as well. They are hard-working people. They gave everything for the club. They all wear this shirt when the club is playing. And actually, we are a bit the same.
Mm. The topic of managers, you've just mentioned two names there. They're the ones also in my mind of, okay, with all due respect to every manager you've had, I think those two are the standout candidates. They're very different.
Yeah.
I mean, Rafa seems so, lack of a better word, is cold.
Yeah.
He seems very cold, and I think a few players have said it as well. But Louis van Gaal, there are stories about him being a very passionate man. He is the opposite of cold. It's yin and yang, those two.
Yeah, no, I won't say that Rafa Benitez is cold, because for me it was very important in my career. I had many things also in my private life, and after my first year my father died, and he was so good for me as a manager and as a human being. But I agree with you that Benitez and Louis van Gaal are two totally separate managers. For example, Louis van Gaal, when you have to play a game on Saturday, on Thursday, everyone knows the team, and Rafa Benitez, just an hour before the game, the players don't know the team yet, who's going to be the first 11. But the one special thing, what they've got in common, they never leave something to a surprise. So the smallest details for them can make the biggest difference. And that's what they both have. They are so prepared, and every small detail they already know. And that's Louis van Gaal and also Benitez, except they are different managers, but I learn a lot from them, and I'm for sure, when I'm becoming later a manager myself, I will take that with me.
When it comes to Louis van Gaal, there's stories of how he motivates players. I'm sure you've heard of some of them. I'm sure you've seen some of them as well. What's the maddest Van Gaal story that you have that comes to mind that you're allowed to say on camera anyway?
Well, there are a lot of great stories about Van Gaal, but for me, what I will never forget, and it's not really funny, it's just, you know, how special he is, that when I played my 100th cap for Holland against Mexico, I had to come the day before the game to him, and I was a striker. I was playing on the left, on the right, but during the World Cup he put me on the left back position, and the day before I had to come in his room, and he said, "Listen, you're gonna start tomorrow on the left." He said, "Well, I'm not so happy about, you know, the guy on the right, so it can be possible the second half you can be on the right, and then I expect this from you." And then he said, "But you know, it's now the final games, so when we are behind, so we come 1-0 down, then I still want you as a striker, because we need to do something then to score a goal. But if we score a goal and we are up again, then I want you back in the position, but not in a 5-3-2, but in a 4-3-3. So on that day I played left back, I played right back, and when I started as a left back, I played in Brazil. It was like 40 degrees in the sunshine. The other half was the shadow. So after the first half I thought, the second half I would play in the shadow, but he put me to the right, so that was my second position. Then he put me up front, and he put me back in the right back position. So actually I played on 5 positions in one game, and the night before I had a conversation of 1 hour and 30 minutes just to discuss all these tactics with him, and he knew everything already. So all the details what we just spoken about, he had already told it me, and that for me makes him one of the specialist managers.
You've played every position bar the goalkeeper. You're more versatile than Philipp Lahm.
Yeah.
He gets a lot of credit. You should be getting even more credit than the great German. Those two managers, though, were also in charge of the sides in probably your biggest games in terms of profile. A Champions League final, which you scored in, and of course the World Cup final. How do they pick up players after such a demoralising defeat? I mean, the two biggest games in football, bar none.
Yeah, but it's like, it was. I thought it was Robin van Persie who said once that everyone thinks that like successful players, they win the league and they do this and they do that, but actually in your life, the most players lose more than you win something, and it's just all about never give up. And the most hurtful losers are the biggest ones, and that's the Champions League final and the World Cup final. But these losers helped me to become a winner, because at Liverpool I learned everything to become a winner. The Champions League final we lost, the FA Cup final I've lost, I've become second in the Premier League, and eventually we won the League Cup. But because of all of these losers and never give up, it made me a winner at the end. Because after Liverpool I went to Fenerbahce, I won there the Cup, I won there the League, I won there the Super Cup, and I came back to Feyenoord and we won the Cup and the League. So at the end you need these losers to become a real winner, and it's all about never give up. And someone can knock you down as long as you stand up, and that's the key for a real winner.
You sound like a Klopp player.
Yeah.
You really sound like a Jurgen Klopp player. What is it? Mentality monsters?
Yeah.
Can't remember the exact term.
Yeah, they are mentality monsters, his players, yeah.
You strike me as that, and I'm just thinking of your skill set now. You were fabulous on the ball, of course, but some players are, but they don't have the stamina.
Yeah.
You, however, have both. I think you would have fit perfectly into the current, if you were
younger,
younger, of course.
I would love to play a game under Jurgen. I did actually in a Legends match. Was it at Rangers? We played Glasgow Rangers against Liverpool, and Jurgen he coached the team. So I played one game under him, but yeah, it would be a privilege to play under him. But also, just as a former player, I'm enjoying the matches he's managing so much.
How many goals would you have scored on the clock, do you think?
I don't know. It depends on what position he's putting me, but that's the funny thing is that Mo Salah is playing on the right and he's scoring so many goals because his wing players are playing a little bit inside, and I think I would enjoy myself quite well in that kind of position.
Yeah, and you're versatile. I mean, someone like Sadio Mane is also versatile.
Yeah.
He was on the right, then he became the left, and then Diaz at the right, so he's central. I think you really would have...
Yeah, he can play everywhere.
Exactly.